Hey everybody, how you doing? It's good to see you. Hi Dino, good to see you there. Um, really happy to hang out with you today. I was using my little the M9, my Line 6 M9. I've got a really cool delay. The M9's got this a way of going from two different presets, and then with the pedal you can blend back and forth. And I came up with it's really cool, man. It's like so just with the pedal all the way back, it's a regular delay. Kind of a little bit longer than a slapback, but a short delay. And all the way down, it's a long, infinite delay. But when you blend the two, it changes the pitch. So there's some really cool really neat, really neat. It's fun to play. I was using that right before we came on there. So who else do we got? We got Mike's here. Hey Mike, how you doing? Master of None, hello, how are you doing today? So this is our community hangout. We got some folks popping in. Let me get my phone. Yeah, we got a few folks in here already. Hal's here. Hey Hal, so good to see you. How you been doing? I haven't talked to you since all this mess has been going on. How's the family doing and everything? Hope everything's okay. How's work going too? Are you virtual now? But really good to see you, Hal. I've been meaning to get in touch with you. So we're just going to hang out today. I've got a bunch. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things that just wanted to more like news to run by you guys. Let you know a little bit about what's going on. Some changes, good changes are happening. Excuse me. And let's see where to start. I'm just going to hang out in the chat for a few minutes and then we'll get started after that. Kevin's here. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Dean. Good to see you. Hi, Evan. Everybody's popping in now. That's awesome. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Hal said, it's good. All good here. Slow on my practice, though. Well, yeah, it's one of those. It's like a 50-50 thing. Some people are doing tons of practice and other people are just finding it challenging to get to the practice. So it says virtual, yes, took a while to get ramped up for virtual work. Yeah. Hope to have a video for you this weekend. I look forward to it. I'm looking forward to Sunday. I look forward to this today. The past week or so, 2 weeks of our this little experiment, I've been getting used to it. Making lots of thumbnails for all these different videos. Have had a video out on YouTube every single day this whole time. So that's nice. Things are moving along right there. And actually the podcast that first like 2 weeks ago, or for the right when we started with the home, so everybody staying at home stuff, podcast went down. And this past podcast is going back up again. So maybe the newness of all this craziness is wearing off. I don't know, but I'm glad to be doing the YouTube stuff. This is fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm getting better at it too. So you'll see in next week in our live chats, I'm gonna have a lot of extra things going on here. I'm redoing the way I get the chats going here. So we'll have a better looking chat in the stream and all those kind of things. So let's go back to the chat. Josh is here. Hey Josh, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. And Evan says, hail, the gang is all here. And David's here too. So we got everybody. This is awesome. This is great. I looked forward to this week. I didn't want to this Friday hangout here. I didn't want to theme it or anything like that. I just wanted to spend some time hanging out with you guys. I think at the end of this week, it's just enough that we got through the week, right? I think so. Let's see. I know some of you are going back to work. Some of you are at work. I, on the other hand, this is my little personal news, but it also affects the academy. Is that I have 2 weeks off of my regular 9 to 5 deal. So I get to do this full time for 2 weeks, which if a lot of you know, who I've talked to personally and all those kind of things, is I've been waiting to catch a break time wise to get the academy finished. And I've been waiting for a long time. I do videos and academy and all those kind of things any time of the day I can get to it. So for 2 weeks, this is it for me. So I'm very excited about that. I'm going to get this academy squared away. So some of the questions I have for you, most of you guys are founding members. Some are, some aren't. But so my question for you is, first for the founding members, but anybody else who wants to chime in. So you guys know how it's laid out. That's how I've been teaching you through the roadmap. And I add extra stuff in, but the basics is I figure out where the best place for everyone to start on the roadmap. And then we put you there. We move forward week to week, and I add other things in there too. So that's the main part of the academy. And I'm going to be finishing videos for every single one over the next 2 weeks. But I also want to have a one-off section. A section for, I don't know, modes, or a section for just want to pop in and learn something, about, I don't know, certain scales or chords or chord progressions or all those kind of things. So just wanted to open that up to you guys. If you have any suggestions about things you'd like to see, I'm going to be finishing up the videos for the roadmap this week, and then I'll be doing the one-off stuff and then opening up the academy. And also making it look really nice too. Right now it's kind of bare bones, as you guys have seen. So if you have any ideas for one-off sections for videos, that I'm very open to that. Okay, so let's see here. Check the chat real quick. Coke's here. Hey, totally 8 minutes late, but I just discovered funk rhythm. So yeah, you lose track of time with that stuff. You get the you can totally lose track of time doing that kind of stuff. I'm happy you're here, Coke. Good to see you. Evan says, I'll work from home as long as they let me. Yeah. When this is all over, I think a lot of people are going to be still working at home. I think so. So Kevin says, Wisconsin just extended the shelter at home until May 26th. So another month at home. And I think we were kind of expecting that. Maybe not in Wisconsin. I don't know how it's going in Wisconsin, but I know here they had been talks of things, and it's just not slow. It's just kind of, actually, I think in the county I'm in, it got a lot worse yesterday. So we are, the county I'm in has been really, we jump up 3 cases a day, 4 cases a day. And then yesterday we jumped up 70 cases yesterday. That, I think, was due, because I don't want to bring everybody down about this, but there's some nursing homes and it's terrible things going on. So I don't know when it's going to lighten up here. How is it in Wisconsin? Is it kind of out of control, or is it kind of a slower climb, I guess is a word to use for it. I know a lot of big businesses are looking towards a June 1st opening. There's a lot of businesses that are planning for that. What that opening means, I don't know. And let's kind of take this to music. What about concerts? When's that going to happen? How are we going to do that? How are we going to get back to being to go to see concerts? There are a lot of performers who aren't doing as well as you would think financially. A lot of performers, they don't talk about it, but there's a lot of performers that when they're off the road, they're got a regular job, and may not be that great of a regular job. So this is hurting a lot of musicians. And and there's the big performers, they're fine. they're taking a break as it is. And we were in a really great concert time. We were in a time where you could really see some awesome stuff. So I'm curious how this is going to play out when people are allowed to go and hold concerts again. What's that going to mean? Is that going to happen before there is a vaccine? And I don't know. Limited seating, spaced out seating, maybe really taking less people but having higher prices so that it can financially happen. I don't know how it's going to go. That's something I'm thinking about though. So let's see here. I'm going to go back to the chat. Governor, Wisconsin. Okay, so Josh says, had a question. How do we get to the blog post you had up? Is there a link or anything? Which the blog posts for the podcast, they're all at playguitaracademy.com. If you click on podcast at the top, let's do it. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get this together. We will see if the technology wants to work. It worked. Okay, so here's Play Guitar Academy. This is all going to be redone. Basically, all of Play Guitar Academy right now is my giveaways. That's all. And so it's at the end of this 2 weeks, I'm going to start launching the launching things and reworking the website. So here is up here at the top on the right next to login is podcast. And this is all the stuff from Play Guitar Podcast, all the way. If you go down to the bottom, you can click all the way back here to, let's see what 14 would be. There's the first one in learning guitar in 2018. 001, which is my most downloaded one. It's got tons and tons and tons of downloads. 002, 003. So they're all at Play Guitar Academy is the short answer to that. All right, let me get my YouTube back here. See what we're doing in the chat. Okay. So I hope that was what you were asking, Josh. Evan says, stay-at-home order in Louisiana till May 15th. I think some people are already going back to the office next week. People are getting ready to get started again. I'm back far in the chat. I apologize if people are putting some stuff in. Coke says, Governor in Wisconsin tried to postpone voting. Not bad by me. Southern is bad in Milwaukee. Evan says there's no Jazz Fest this year. Totally canceled. Yeah, and in New Orleans, remember, every weekend is some sort of a festival. So lots of festivals have been closed down. A lot of them. Coke says Republican controlled Supreme Court forced voting to go through. So we've got 2 weeks to see the repercussions of that. Dino says may not be any crowd-based concerts until a real vaccine is out. Yeah. Dean says, where are you, Lee? I'm in Georgia right now. I'm currently building a house in Florida, which is supposed to be finished in August. So we're just kind of biding our time here until the house is done. Supposedly, construction is still moving forward. Permits, we were waiting on permits. Once the permits come in, things move a lot quicker. But I've had 2 other houses, one house built and one we had a spec house. And they take time. And sometimes the day they say it's going to be done, sometimes all the time, that's not it usually takes longer. So maybe September, I don't know. But we're just kind of in Georgia right now, holding out until that happens. And David says, I have had one show and I was going to cancel, 2 other postponed, still have 2 tickets to the Stones. I hope that one goes good. You know, I saw the Stones at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. I think it was the Steel Wheels tour. And I remember thinking then, this may be the last time you ever see the Stones. And that was in like the late 80s, I think, early 90s. So that's awesome. They're still at it if they can. Oh, Chris says still at work, finishing up, but got the stream on my phone. Hi, Chris. How you doing? Sorry you have to work today. And Kevin says Pink Floyd releasing old concerts on their YouTube page every Friday starting today. Well, that'd be a good thing to see considering the weekend we're about to have, and I'll get into that a little bit. And Hal says, Lee, do you recall which podcast episode it was where you covered amps in great detail? I didn't follow it all that well back then, but now I have a better idea. What is a twin reverb blues deluxe, etc. I did a whole series called I think it was the Quest for Tone. Let me. Josh says, okay, makes sense. Episode 17 and 18, I believe. And yeah, I want to go check that out real quick. Now that I know this is working, let's find the amp episodes. So let's head on over there. Here, I'll put me down here. Okay, so let's see, maybe 12. So there's effects is 19 part 3. Amplifiers would be 18. And Pat the Great Guitar Tone 1 was 17. I may have put these on YouTube as well. I just have the podcast up here. But what you can do is search, and it was 18 down here. It's a really good search on the site through all the podcasts. And I'm going to, when I redo the site down here on the right, I'm going to add in like some links to common shows people are looking for and those kind of things. All right, let me head back over to the chat. All right. So Dino says, I saw him in New York, Steel Wheels too. That was a I think the Who was also playing around that time. I had seen Pink Floyd recently that time. That was a great little year for catching concerts, man. And David says, I saw Stones in 80s. Van Halen open for them. That would have been an awesome show. I would like to see that. House says, awesome. Coke and Lee, thanks. Dreaming of a new amp. Yeah, it's a good time to wake the neighbors up with some amps there. Yeah, all my amps are in a warehouse somewhere with all my other stuff. I don't have any amps. I got 3 guitars, an acoustic, 2 Strats, and everything's plugged in direct. I've got my board there. So okay. So let's get back to this. I caught a break. I've got 2 weeks where I'm finally able to work on this stuff, and I'm going to do my best to get as much done as I can. I'm not going to say it's going to be done at the end of 2 weeks. I'm going to try. You never know. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is what we're working on tomorrow. I've changed there we go. So what we're working on tomorrow, what we're going to do is the Gilmour versus Satriani shootout, maybe. I don't know if you'd call that. It's not really a competition, but we're going to take both of those players, and I'm going to go through. I'm going to have some clips, and I'd like for you to let me know, is there any songs or any specific solos that you think of when you think of those 2 players? So we might do. I can't broadcast their videos, but I thought maybe I could have a second device over here. We could all watch it at the same time and talk about it as we go through the different styles. And we're going to talk about that today at the end. I'm going to start putting something together, getting all this Gilmour and Satriani stuff together. So if you would like to be a part of the guitar talk tomorrow, let me know, and I will send you a link right around 4 tomorrow, and you can hang out with us on Zoom. So you can just let me know in the chat. You could just put a 1 in the chat, and I'll know what you mean. And I'll write down everybody's name who would like to hang out. I know Brennan is going to be there. Yeah, I'm going to start a new page here. Up here. So I know Brennan, I want to get him in first because he was supposed to be in last week and I didn't make that happen. And I think Evan R, if he can make it, had said so too. So let me know if you would like to hang out. Okay, so I'm going to go through here. David, all right. And then I'm going to go back and look at your recommendations for the songs. Okay. Kind of going through all the different things here. Okay, so while we wait for that, Evan Wilson said, "What I missed, had to take a work call." Nothing. We're just gonna talk. We're talking about tomorrow. If you'd like to be in the Zoom chat, hang out with me. I just asked everybody to put a 1 in the chat, and also I'm asking for, when you think of David Gilmour or you think of Joe Satriani, what songs or what specific solos are you thinking about? So we want to have some listening. We're gonna maybe get a tablet or on your TV or something like that. I will send out links to the things we're all going to watch, and then we're going to talk about different things about their playing. So that's all, Evan, that we were just talking about right now. So okay. All right. And Chris says, and with Gilmour need to mention that super large, but yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to go back. All right, and Coke's just talking about not leaving the house. It's very smart. So Chris says, coming back to life intro is pure Gilmour for me. Now I'm definitely going to start a new page. We're going to get these down. All right, so I'm going to have Gilmour on the left, and Satriani on the right. So Gilmore coming back to life intro. And then David has always with you, always with me for Satriani. Ah. I lost my chat here. See if I can get it back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, Evan, I'd say Chris, Benz, and all the different solos. David saying flying in a blue dream. So always and flying. Gilmore would be Hey You from Hal. And Hal's going to hang out with us tomorrow. Okay. Comfortably numb and maroon for Gilmore. For Satriani, I'm going to put down Satch Boogie because that one's the one I want to go through. Very cool song. I'm going to find out. I had a really, 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 really good live Satriani DVD a while ago that I would watch over and over and over again. I don't know the name of it offhand, but really cool stuff. And for some of you who aren't as familiar with Satriani too, I'm looking forward to showing you some really, really neat stuff. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. Okay. Let's see for Gilmore. Those are good. Those are good so far. Coming back to life. Hey You, comfortably numb, marooned. I'll have a few other ones too. Okay, so that's a good start right there. I'll fill some more out tomorrow when I'm getting ready for that. All right, so for a little news for the founding members, videos are going to be, you've all probably seen this, but a few of you haven't. Sunday nights is when I'm doing videos. So you can, any of the videos, just all weekend, just put them in, up till about, dinner on Sunday. So like 6 o'clock on Sunday. I'll probably work on them after 6 o'clock on Sunday. So just get those videos into me by Sunday. And I want to talk a little bit about the experiment. I'm pretty happy with it. And you guys you guys are the core. You've been hanging out with me for a while. We've got like 14, 15 people here, and I appreciate you hanging out with me. And so here's the experiment, and it pretty much went the way I thought it would, the way I had planned it. Not the way I thought it would, but what I had planned, I was actually able to do. That's what I'm trying to say. So the experiment is starts on Fridays today, and that's a live stream on Fridays, which is the Hangout. And then Saturdays, which is the guitar talk, where we all kind of hang out together and have on a topic. And then Sundays is the Guitar 30 challenge. Actually, Fridays and Sundays have been doing those, but this will be the last one for the Guitar 30 challenge. So I'm gonna come up with some ideas for Sunday, but I like doing it. So we'll find something, if not just to hang out, but I've got a couple ideas. Any of you have any ideas too for Sundays, let me know. And then Monday is the live podcast, which I'm liking. It's pretty good. Pretty good. It's much easier. So I'll tell you how it works. So my podcast comes out Wednesday morning at 3 in the morning. And that's because so the reason I do it at 3 in the morning is because that's when our friends in Europe are usually getting ready to go to work, right before they get up to go to work. So that has worked out. So we hit Europe and go straight across that way. So how my life would go before that is the weekend before, I'd try to start thinking up of an idea, or look back in my list of ideas and find the one I had planned. And then I work on it a little bit, work on it a little bit, work on it a little bit, hate it, get rid of it, have a whole new idea Monday, and Tuesday, work all day Tuesday on it. And then Tuesday night, record the podcast right up till it's going to do. And then bam, it's out. And Wednesday, I just kind of collapse. So this has been really nice for me, because being able to discuss the ideas with you guys and not having that feeling like, is this going to work? Or, getting that feedback from you guys, is been wonderful. So, my life's been a lot less stressful than it was before doing it this way. I'm doing more, I'm putting more out there, but I'm a lot calmer. So it's not quite as difficult. So usually what happens, like last week, kind of introduced the topic on Friday. Saturday talked a little bit more about it, and Sunday I kind of honed it a little bit while we're all together. And so this week I'm going to do either Gilmore or Satriani, but we're going to dive deep into their styles tomorrow. And that's going to be a lot of what I talk about for either this week or whenever I do the next one, which would be the final week or the week after that. I don't know. So the experiment that's Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is editing for me, taking the podcast, the live podcast that's on YouTube, and splitting it up into 3 videos. And I did it. I was naive in the fact I thought that I could do that editing in one day, on a Tuesday. And just because there's a lot of new stuff, and I'm getting systems together to be able to do it faster. But this week went better than the week before. And so hopefully at some point I'll get to the point where just I can do the editing very quickly on Tuesdays and be done with it and enjoy some of my day. So this has been, I'm liking the experiment. I hope everybody is enjoying it as well. But that's kind of how things are going to go. I'm going to keep doing it. I think it's worth doing. All right, I'm going to go back to the chat now. Let's see. Flying in a Blue Dream. Have that. Let's go back to the songs here. I think we got some more songs in. Evan says, "Not this year, no more festivals." Hey, you got that down. Comfortably, okay, got those down. Shine on You, Crazy Diamond, an animal. Everything in animals. And animals. Every lick. Chris says, I've enjoyed the video podcast segments. I think they work well. Thank you. Thanks. And David says, if I could fly just because Coldplay stole it for Via La Vida. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. I haven't really paid attention to that song, so that'd be fun to do too. So let's see here. If I Could Fly. Okay. Kevin says, saw Floyd in 94 too. Gilmore in 2016. Chris Rod. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Good to see you. Evan says, I heard that. Good afternoon. Evan Wilson would like to hang out. Hey, Brennan, I see you're in here. How you doing? It's good to see you on Friday here. I've already got you. I got you in the number one slot for hanging out tomorrow. So so when I send the Zoom links out, for those of you who are, I've got you in the group on Facebook. I'll probably just send a Facebook message with those. If not, I'll send it to you by email. So just keep a lookout for either one of those two. Okay, so that's the four things. I've got one thing I wanted to ask everybody. How's your situation changing at home? It could be guitar wise, or it could just be family wise too. I'm curious. How are things going as far as being prepared, like food wise, all that stuff? Time practicing, working, how everybody's handling things, I guess. I'm going to talk about how things have changed for me over the past 3 weeks to a month. We pulled out of life, of society early on, and got prepared beforehand. I remember we were doing Walmart pickup, and I was talking to the ladies that were bringing the groceries out to the car, and I remember saying, "You guys are in for it." And the one lady said, "What? What are you talking about?" And I said, "It's coming. It's coming." And so at that point, no one was really concerned, but the hand sanitizer was gone already. That was the first thing to go. So I remember hand sanitizer is as ahead of this as we tried to be. People were much farther ahead than us. Hand sanitizer has been gone. You haven't seen it since the very beginning. But we were able to get everything else, and we stocked up, made sure we had a good month or two worth of supplies, which are starting to go. And what ends up happening now is the local Walmart, that's the closest to this apartment complex that we're in now. They were hit by a tornado Saturday. So you can't win, right? There was you got the big department, the big Walmart, and then the huge parking lot, and then like a separate store in the front of the parking lot, or down the street in the front, right there, which was a drugstore's Walgreens, and they were totally, it blew the front doors in. So the front door's gone, and it totaled the inside of the Walgreens. The building's still there. I think the roof even survived it, but it went inside and hit everything. The same storm hit the Walmart, and they had a roof damage and a gas leak, which knocked them out. So we had previously signed up for deliveries and all that stuff. That's been gone. They're not doing that again till Monday. So we are slowly getting low on supplies. Hopefully that kind of gets better because of this one place. But from what I understand, everybody's really running low on stuff that you wouldn't think. The same tornado system that went through here also went through the county that we were living in before, when I had my old studio. And a friend of ours lived in it's a barn right? But it was supposed, I hadn't seen it, but it was a barn, but it was like a nice, it was like a house, and with iron girder, and it was leveled, and he was in it, and he survived. So we got this area that we're in. We've got the double whammy of the virus and people dealing with these tornadoes that came through. I slept through it. It didn't hit right here too much. So what's different for us is that we're still going outside. We're still every once in a while taking a walk, those kind of things. I have to go outside a lot because of the dogs, and it's fine. You just try and stay away from people and everything like that. But I'm going to check the chat, see how everybody else is doing. David says, everything seems available here except for paper towels and TP. I heard it was cold down there too. I heard yesterday you were in the 60s, which is different. Very different for this time of year. And I know Chris is just working all the time. So anyway, I just want to let you know how things are going. Things are changing here. I've been busy. I've been very busy, but my time is about to free up. So very excited about that. Okay. Well, if you guys have any questions or anything, that's all the 5 things that I wanted to go through. If anybody has any questions or anything that they want to talk about in the Hangout, let me know. I'm going to go back in the chat and make sure I didn't miss anything. Dave says, "Yep, but it's back to 85 today." Yeah, it doesn't last long. It's kind of the same thing with us here. It's hot. It's hot here too. It was nice and cool yesterday. Let's see here. One of the things with Gilmore is his use of delays. And even stacked delays. And that's one of the things I'm going to go through tomorrow. His use of the delay pedals, and his use of compressor pedals, which is a big one, which not many guitar players use, and he uses them to really great effect. Mike says, "Are we discussing gear today?" Yeah, I'm doing it. That'd be great. Right now, I'm going to discuss pedals, and how many people here have used a compressor pedal before, and how did you use it? I'm interested in that. I really like compressor pedals, and actually I don't use them when I play out a whole lot, but I record with them a lot. So for Gilmore, he uses kind of like, was it a Park? It's like a Marshall type thing. He uses lots of different amps. I'm going to have that all prepared for tomorrow, and lots of different drive pedals. So but the big ones to me are the compressor pedals and the delay pedals. And I'm going to see if I can get this to tap. Too many delays here. I got 1, 2, 3. No, it's not set up for that. The delay pedals that I have right here, I have the one that's on my M9 modeler. I have a Boss DD3 digital delay, and I have the delay on my HD 500X. So 2 line 6 delays and a Boss delay. And the biggest problem, I'm going to start talking about the biggest problem that you have with a delay pedal, and that is the high end. You hear some people who throw a delay pedal out there to make space, to make something sound bigger, to make it sound like it's in a bigger room. And and usually people jump for a digital delay pedal. They try to get that Gilmore sound. They try to get those U2 sounds, those kind of things, and don't get good results with that. And we're going to talk tomorrow specifically about how they use it. I want to do my homework before we get into that. But I do know that the biggest problem with the delay is the high end of the delay. And the biggest way to make your guitar get lost in a mix is to leave all the high end in. So what does a delay do? It simulates you being in a room, right? The slap off the walls of your sound in a room. And you can set how big the room is, how small the room is. And that's what people concentrate on, how big or how small a delay pedal is. But what most people don't concentrate on, and the thing that's the most important with that, is how close or how far away you are. So if you're in a room with a bunch of delays slapping off this wall, and you leave all the high end in, all that starts fighting, and it makes you sound far away. It makes you sound unintelligible, washed out. If you take the high end, the highs of those delay sounds, it brings you closer in the mix, closer in the way you sound. So you have your first attack, when you hit the guitar, the brighter that is compared to the delays, the closer you're going to be, the bigger you're going to sound. And that's the thing that's in most delay pedals you can't even adjust that. The DD3, you can't adjust that. Now what you can do with all of these delay pedals is the blend. So you can blend in how much. So you get that kind of separation from the delays. So if the delays are very quiet, they may sound far away. But the tone of the delay, and that's why a lot of these guys that you see will use analog delay pedals. That's what the deal is with analog delay pedals, is they have a duller sound. The sound that's bouncing around sounds muffled. And as long as your guitar doesn't sound muffled, sounds bright, it's going to sound huge. It's going to sound like you're right there, right in I'm holding my pick here. That's what I was doing with it. So it's going to sound like you're in their face, but still have the bigness there. So that's one of the big reason, the very boiled down reason between differences between digital delay pedals and analog pedals. It really doesn't. The biggest problem is the high end. Analog, they say it sounds warmer. Well, what warmer means is not as bright, and not as bright is just an EQ down. And in a lot of these floorboards and stuff where you have a lot of different parameters that you can control, it'll say HF damp, high frequency damp, and that's the most important. That's the one that's going to get them the delays out of your space and make you still sound like you're playing guitar. And it make it sound big, not washed out. So I'm going to go back in here real quick. David says, judging by the vote, Gilmore's running away with it. Yeah, that's okay, because there's a lot to learn from both of them. I'm going to do both guitar players. I know for a fact there's a lot to learn from both of them. Coke says, compressor pedals. Is that what stops the sharp high and low strikes? Well, a compressor pedal is just a dumber version of a compressor that you'd have in a recording studio. And you can do that. Stop the sharp highs and low strikes. You can do that and other things too, the way you set them up. Chris has never used a compressor. So there's a couple reasons. What a compressor does is it will limit highs and boost lows. And you can set both of those. It will actually limit attacks or let an attack through. Attack meaning your first hit. And then you could raise the gain of the rest of the signal up to match. Or you can set a compressor to be a brick wall where nothing that goes above this, no volume that goes above this level can go through. If you've ever seen, the waveforms on songs, if you ever see like a Metallica song or something like that, it looks like a brick wall that it's just sound up until a certain point, as loud as it can get. So a compressor pedal does the same thing. The sounds that are common for compressor pedals, it's like country music, that chicken picking, that squashed kind of sound. The old Ross. There's lots of different ones. There's the Boss compressor pedal too. So it gives that squashed kind of sound. If you listen to Fish, that Trey from Fish, that kind of squashed kind of sound. It's like the way a country player would use that. So it sets a level where if you try to get past it, it stops it. So a lot of like clean guitar sounds, especially country sounds, they're all attack, and then the rest of it's very quiet. So what ends up happening, it stops the attack and it makes the sound much more even, not so much of a high a very loud click and then a dying away. It actually brings that lower part up, and it gives the impression of more sustain. Now that's something that we all know about, sustain. And what's a guitar player's best way of getting some sustain? Distortion, right? When we turn up distortion, we know right away we can get some sustain. It's a different way of getting compression. And it happens in different ways too in amps. On your power tubes, if you crank them up, even though they don't distort like the preamp tubes do, you get a sag, a compression from those as well. And basically you get more sustain, less attack. And so distortion will do that too. If you've ever seen a waveform of a distorted guitar, it looks like it's just a brick wall. It's just even across there. There's no volume spikes, and that gives you extra sustain in a sound. Your sound lasts longer. Evenly. Think Carlos Santana uses distortion to, and the humbuckers that he uses. Humbuckers push an amp a little bit harder, so they end up having more sustain as well too. So I'm going to go to. There's a lot of people talking about compression pedals here. So, Coke says tightens the sound. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, it tightens it. How's a compressor pedal used? Well, there's a couple different ways that you can use that. Use a compressor pedal. So a lot of guys will use it first before a distortion pedal or before an amp, and that will give you a more even sound coming out of your guitar for the distortion to affect it. Some people will put it after the distortion. So you've got your regular guitar in there. You can roll up and roll down and get different clean and dirty sounds, but it evens out the sound after your distortion pedal. It's a neat thing to use. Listen to a lot of country guys will use the compressor pedals the most, but David Gilmour uses them. A lot of those Strat sounds where he just has sustain for days and days and days, and he'll use like a tube driver as his distortion pedal, a Butler tube driver, but tons of sustain compared to what a regular Stratocaster. And if you see his Strats, he's using just regular pickups, you know, those kind of things. So how's a compressor pedal used? Yeah, so what you do is you plug into the compressor pedal, you play regular, right? And there's a threshold knob, and then a squash knob, you know, how much it squash. So in a really simple one, there's usually like two knobs, and the threshold tells it at what volume do you want it to start to limit the guitar from being loud, right? And then the other one, the more you turn it up, the more it squashes. So the more effect it has. So you'd say when to do the effect and how much of the effect to use. And it's a trial and error. It's definitely trial and error. You can't really give somebody a compressor a preset for a compressor, because it depends on your guitar, it depends on the volumes that go into it. And usually it's used before you go into the amp. I know some people who have used them for like volume boosts and in the effects loop of an amp, but I've never used it that way. Evan says Time by Pink Floyd. I'm going to put Time in there. Lots of Gilmour stuff. And Evan says, "Oh, I'm loving the new content. Making sure to like every video. Please do. And guys, like this video too. I always forget to ask, but if you guys could like the videos, that's going to help get this stuff rolling a lot quicker. I know I'm doing okay because I never would get spam contents because I'd just put a video out. Over the past year or two, I'd put a few. I try for a little bit and give up. Now that I'm like doing it every day, I'm getting spam contents, spam comments all the time. So I'm on to something here. All right. And it says, I'm loving being at home. We're shopping infrequently, but couldn't stock up for a month at once. Trying to limit our time out of the house. Yeah, we haven't gone into the stores. We've done everything delivery or pickup. And we walk the dogs every night with some friends, but it's easy to stay distant when everyone has a dog on a leash. That's right. Coke says, I definitely need a compressor pedal then. And Coke, I would tell you to try one out first. See if you can find somebody to let you borrow one first. See if you like it or not, because they're a whole different animal than an overdrive pedal. Kevin's got a CS2. Those are fun. The blue ones, right? Evan says, not the same, but gives me an idea. Coke says, interesting. Never considered checking out guitar waveforms. Maybe I'll throw Saturday. And then Coke says, okay. Mike says, I have a great Squier Standard with original pickups, but need to turn volume up to 10 on guitar to work with my envelope filter. Would upgrading the pickups help? Yeah. Well, yeah. You just need more volume, and let's see, what is that? I'll find it right here. Hold on a second. 1 second here. One of the pedals that you can use for that is this, a micro amp pedal. And it is just a volume boost. They have other ones as well. This is a cheaper one, but an MXR micro amp, and it's basically a clean boost. You don't have any. I use an EP booster from Exotic Effects. It does the same thing. It adds a color to it there, but the micro amp is just, it's like you just turned up the volume. And so maybe something like that. You could let's go back here. You could upgrade your pickups to more high output pickups, but if you're happy with your pickups, I would try something like the micro amp and before your envelope filter. So you could set it anywhere you want. It would give you tons of gain and it wouldn't change the sound. Hope that helped. I also have a Mustang 1.2. Yeah. Those are good amps. Anthony says, I'm wanting to learn some country style licks leads. Any advice where to go for that? I would first, I just asked today about some sections for the Academy, from some one-off sections. And that's one of the ones that I was thinking about doing is like country style licks, those things. One of the first things, that I would do before we get into all that is kind of go over your pentatonic scales and add that if it's minor pentatonic, the sharp 4 flat 5. Ethan R is doing this right now. Okay. All right. Once you learn those patterns with the half step in there, a lot of that chicken picking stuff, they use those same patterns, but they use it in major. So that's one of a big sound in that country kind of style guitar. It's the blues scale, but you use it as in the major, not the minor. And then the next thing I would do is start getting used to using open strings in your licks, learning these patterns in open position, because a lot of those you hear a lot of these country guitar players, the chicken picking guitar players, not the rock guys, which is a lot of the country stuff right now is just rock. They'll use a lot of basically Southern rock style stuff, but the real country guys, like Brent Mason, and a lot of those guys, they use a lot of that kind of minor pentatonic. It's major, but it's got the let's see, in major, it's 1, 2, minor third, major third. So it's the major pentatonic with the minor third and the major third in it. That'd be the first place I'd start getting ready for that. And I'm going to have something available in one of the one-off sections pretty soon that's all about that kind of stuff for people inside the Academy. So that's what I would start working on, Anthony, if I was going to start getting into country style licks. That'd be the first step. There's a lot more than that, though. The amp works a little bit better. I think so. Pratt is a program for visualizing audio files and waveforming, editing them, and then removing formats, measure. Yeah, it's I did when I was in music school, I did a lot of work with synthesizers. They had a Moog, one of these old, where you patch all the wires together synthesizers, and I would help. I actually taught the student. I was a student teacher for that class, so I would teach people on those. And I love, attack, sustain, delay, release, ASDR, and thinking of the guitar in those terms as well. And I haven't used that program, Pratt, but you can manipulate audio files, editing them, removing formats, measuring, those kind of things. Yeah, that'd be fun putting your guitar through that, see what you can do with it. At least just seeing what it looks like. It's very different. It's very compressed. You wouldn't think so. So Anthony says, okay, so major pentatonic with the blues note, great. I've already been working on that. I'll look forward to your academy lessons. Yeah, I'm going to do a good one. I've got a friend who's really into who's a great guitar player I went to school with who I may interview one day. He started off as a jazz guy and ended up being a country guy. And yeah, I'm thinking his name's Eric Sales. I'm thinking about bringing him on the show one day if he would like. I don't know. Okay, guys, it's about 10 after 5. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it. I look forward to it. And I'm going to look forward to tomorrow. I think it's going to be a fun show. I'm going to get some examples for us all to listen to. And I'm going to pick 3 things that maybe are common. I'll do the common things between their styles, what's different. And then in the third one, I'll get in depth with the things that make Gilmore and Satriani. Okay? Gosh, this time of the day, I started off, the video looked great. No, it's just bright white. The exposure. Okay. Good to see you, Coke. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for hanging out. I know you're busy, but I appreciate you hanging out. Thanks, Anthony, Mike. Let's see, who else do we got? Evan, Kevin, Brennan, David. Let's see if I've missed anybody else. I got Kevin before. Evan, Hal. Good to see you, Hal. I know Dino was in early. Dean, hey Dean, it was good to see you here. And trying to get everybody. If I missed your name, I apologize. Master of None was in here in the beginning. Good to see you. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Bye-bye.